Hello, this is Business Now, coming to you live from iBrandTV News Studio in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital. Coming up, queues resurface in filling stations as fuel scarcity hits Lagos and Abuja. And the House of Reps probes 1.2 trillion naira stock in commercial banks. And Namibia's first oil field to begin production by 2026. Oil giant BP reports highest profit for 8 years amid calls for a windfall tax on energy companies. Glad to have you join us now. This is Business Now. Hi, I'm Frank Komalape. Now, motorists on Tuesday experienced some level of anxiety and confusion in Abuja and Lagos as fuel scarcity hit some parts of the state. There were unusual long queues of vehicles at various filling stations in Ikoyi, Victoria Island, and Lekki over the weekend trying to buy the premium motor spirit, otherwise known as PMS, which was thought to have been occasioned by increased demand of the product due to power blackout. According to findings, the long queues at the filling stations persisted on Tuesday despite improved power supply. This is coming at a time when the controversy on the petrol subsidy removal or otherwise still rages. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has always allayed fears of any hitch in the supply of petroleum products, assuring of their availability despite reported cases of scarcity of these products, especially petrol, in some parts of the country. And we're from there now. The House of Representatives ad hoc committee on unclaimed funds in the Nigerian commercial banks and infractions by the Central Bank of Nigeria has begun investigation of fund stock in commercial banks due to the alleged failure to link the account holding the funds to a bank verification number and the Treasury single account policy of the federal government. The committee is particularly probing over 45 million accounts said to be holding funds amounting to over 1.2 trillion naira. The House had on January 26, 2022 resolved to set up the committee to investigate the suspicious and unclaimed funds sitting with various accounts. The House had mandated the committee to also investigate the unremitted funds collected on behalf of ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government by the banks. The House had further mandated the committee to look into the alleged several infractions by the Central Bank of Nigeria against the provisions of the Enabling Act and laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the good people of Nigeria. The committee is to report back within 8 weeks for further legislative action. The external reserves have fallen below the $40 billion mark to the lowest point in over 3 months. Figures from the Central Bank of Nigeria have revealed. The reserves dropped to $39.82 billion on February 2nd from $40.5 billion as of December 30th, 2021. The country's external reserves had jumped from $39.82 billion on October last year to a high of $41.83 billion on October 29 on the back of Eurobond inflow and the International Monetary Fund's special drawing right. The country's external reserves rose by $5.12 billion last year from $35.37 billion at the end of 2020, according to CBN data. At the first Monetary Policy Committee meeting this year, the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, said members also noted the continued improvement in the external reserves despite ongoing foreign exchange market pressures. The reserves stood at $40.2 billion as at December last year. Away from there now, the International Monetary Fund has advised Nigeria to remove untargeted fuel subsidies and channel resources to the poor. The international body warned that the budget deficit was expected to widen in 2022 despite a recovery in international crude prices. The IMF said despite a recovery in oil prices, the fiscal deficit was expected to widen to 5.9% of gross domestic product in 2021, partly due to the subsidy on petrol. That compares with 5.7% in 2020. Nigeria's economy was projected to grow by 3% this year, above initial IMF forecast of 2.6% in November last year. Similarly, the International Monetary Fund says the Nigerian economy is recovering from a historic downturn, benefiting from government policy support, rising oil prices, and international financial assistance. The IMF disclosed this in a statement issued from its headquarters in Washington, D.C. on Monday. The organization said Nigeria exited the recession in fourth quarter of 2020 and output rose by 4.1% year-on-year in the third quarter, with broad-based growth except for the oil sector, which is facing security and technical challenges. The IMF noted reported unemployment rate at the end of 2020 are yet to come down, but more recent COVID-19 monthly surveys show employment back at its pre-pandemic level. Away from there now, the Oil Farmers Association of Nigeria, AFAN, has expressed commitment to meeting the food requirement of Nigeria in spite of the many challenges besetting the agricultural sector, such as insecurity, climate change, and inadequate technology. The national president of the association, Kabru Ibrahim, said that Nigerian farmers are poised to ensure food sufficiency in the country, noting that Nigerian farmers are showing a lot of resilience by working assiduously to produce what Nigerians and its neighbors eat sustainably despite the COVID-19 pandemic and various other challenges. Ibrahim also said that the National Agricultural Technology and Innovation Policy, NATIP, which would be launched soon to replace the Agricultural Promotion Policy app that expired in 2020, would boost food production in Nigeria. And the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Musa Bello, has called for the strengthening of commercial and business relationship between Qatar and Nigeria. He made the clamor at the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the FCT administration and Qatar Charity, an international humanitarian non-governmental organization for the development of about 200 housing units for widows in the Federal Capital Territory. The minister said the location of the nation's capital makes it an enabler of the commercial process, given that there is a direct fair link between Doha and Abuja. The MOU was signed during the courtesy visit of the Qatari ambassador to Nigeria, Ali bin Ghanem Al-Hajri, to the FCTA. The Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP, has said it has commenced the process of amending the Procurement Act to bring it up to date with current realities. BPP also called on government agencies to emulate the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, in capacity building and compliance with procurement processes. Speaking at a management retreat by the NDIC in collaboration with the agency, the Director General of BPP, Maman Atmadu, noted that the Procurement Act, which was enacted in 2007, is riddled with challenges presented by changing times. Ahmadu, who was represented by BPP Director Compliance Certification and Monitoring, Ishak Yahaya, noted that the BPP is already in talks with the National Assembly and is also in the process of crafting an executive bill to that effect. The International Finance Corporation, IFC, plans to ramp up its new investment in Africa to about $10 billion annually in support of businesses that will help drive economic recovery and growth on the continent. The member of the World Bank Group plans to add about $1 billion to the amount it invests every year until it hits the target, according to its managing director, Maktaru De organization had invested and mobilized about $6.4 billion in Africa in the 12th month through June last year. While government spending has helped African nations to cope with the coronavirus pandemic, weather-related disasters and conflict, the number of people in absolute poverty remains high. The IFC venture capitalists and private equities firms are expanding or starting investment in Africa to create jobs and help boost household incomes, the report added. Away from there now, MTN Nigeria has paid the 5G license fee ahead of the February 24 deadline issued by the federal government of Nigeria. This was announced on the website of the Nigerian Communications Commission dated February 4. As stated on the website, MTN and MAFAB Communications were listed among those who had paid their license fees in full and had collected license document for the respective telecommunications undertaking before the era of reclassification of licenses into class and individual licenses. Recall MTN and MAFAB Communications were awarded slot for the 3.5 gigahertz fifth generation technology spectrum after emerging winners of the auction held by NCC. MTN was the highest bidder at the auction, followed by MAFAB Communications Limited. You've been watching Business Now, coming to you live from our studios here in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital. Still to come, our giant BP reports its highest profit for 8 years. We'll bring you details and more business update after this break. Please stay with us.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiviv Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiviv family.
cultivation of plants and rearing of animals for human consumption. And I'm here today at the Pali Agro Farm. My name is Jennifer Obusa. It's going to be an exciting view today, so enjoy, stay tuned, and don't go anywhere.
Plantain flour it's a one of its kind product. We have other products in the market, but our true unripe plantain flour, it's 100% plantain flour with no additive. And once you eat it, just as you said,
Looking fresh already, right?
yeah, it's a very nice product. So as we produce it, we also test it, and as you can see, it's a very good product, and we encourage people outside, the buyers, to patronize us, buy our plantain flour, and they will see the difference. The difference is clear.
We have one who understands the history of Pali Agro Farm. He is no other person than a pioneer staff and a Marshall Teslin. Good to have you here, sir.
Thank you very much, sister. I'm the one of the first staff in the Pali Agro, because we are first there in BBK before we come to Pali Agro since 2003. We start from the fish pond. After fish pond, we enter to the poultry side.
Now, for every Pali Agro product, what will you say to people out there?
I remember when I take our market to the first town, people are calling us, they are calling us Agoro. So everybody say we are looking for agro egg. That's what they call us in first town. If you are in Mushi, they are looking for Abekuta egg. There are many products that are spoiled, that are selling in the market, but our product is the best in the market. Everybody has lined up, they are waiting for our product. People are using our product to sell their product. I'm the managing distributor of all the Pali Agro products in Lagos. Please, people, keep watching iBrandTV.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services that meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery, yeah. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, for clean wash and quick delivery. Ooh.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
Glad to have you back now. Let's turn our attention to African scene now. Namibia aims to fast-track the development of its first oil field to have production by 2026 following a significant offshore discovery by Shell. Shell on Friday said the exploration well off the coast of the southern African country had shown encouraging results with the presence of a working petroleum system with light oil. Magishino, Petroleum Commissioner at the Ministry of Mines and Energy, said in the first official comment from the government since Shell's announcement. Shell's Graft 1 well was drilled deep offshore in a water of more than 5,000 meters. Shino said it was too early to provide exact volumes of oil encountered at the Graft 1 well, or whether the new discovery was sufficient to be a standalone project or will require further exploration in the area. And our South African rand weakened against a stronger dollar in afternoon trade on Monday as domestic headwinds also weighed, with power utility Eskom announcing the resumption of scheduled power cuts barely hours after suspending the outages. At early in the afternoon, the rand traded at 15.50 against the dollar, about 0.39% weaker than its previous close. Eskom said scheduled power cuts would resume from 9 p.m. GMT after more breakdowns at its ailing coal-fired power stations. It had only suspended outages on Sunday evening when it said its generation capacity had recovered. The outages are a major drag on Africa's most industrialized economy. And on the foreign scene now, BP's profit hit the highest in 8 years in 2021, lifted by soaring gas and oil prices as the company boosted share repurchases and said it was accelerating plans to cut emissions with increased spending on low-carbon energy. BP's rebound to an annual profit of $12.85 billion after a large loss in 2020 is likely to add to calls in Britain for higher taxes on energy producers to help reduce consumers' energy bills. And the fourth quarter of 2021, the company's underlying replacement cost profit, the company's definition of net earnings, reached about $4.1 billion, exceeding analysts' expectations for a $3.93 billion profit. That was the largest profit BP recorded since early 2013. And in the global stocks now, Asian shares reversed early gains, with investors in Chinese stocks unsettled by U.S. moves against 33 Chinese entities, with markets otherwise waiting for U.S. inflation data that could influence how fast the Federal Reserve raises interest rates. Traders are alert for rate hikes in both the Eurozone and the United States after the European Central Bank last week was considered to have adopted a more hawkish tone. Euro Stoxx 50 futures eased and FTSE futures edged up 0.1%, indicating a mixed start from European equities. You've been watching Business Now, coming to you live from our studios here in Lagos. And now let's link up with Perpetua for more news update.
Oh boy, winning you was so easy.
I just couldn't stand those your powerful shots. That's what happened.
Really? Let's go to my place for dinner.
This fufu is so nice.
It's through unripe plantain flour.
True unripe plantain flour is delicious.
Yes, true unripe plantain flour is what I serve my husband for swallows. It's easy to prepare, fortified with vitamin A, low in sugar and cholesterol, rich in fiber that helps the heart, builds and strengthens the bone, and his energy level is boosted.
Through unripe plantain flour, no additives, 100% natural, a product of Pali Agro Products Nigeria. Through unripe plantain flour, available in all leading stores nationwide.
You go enter market, just make you go buy fresh palm fruits. When you reach house, you go wash, you go pound, your body go dey pain you, even your fingernails go dey pain you. But make una no worry, make una relax. I get good news for una. Una don hear of Banga fresh palm fruit extract. All you need to do na make you go for the open am. Take the amount wey you want, put am for your pot. Which soup you wan make? Shey na egusi, shey na ogbono, shey na vegetable, shey na banga. My sister no waste time again, my brother no waste time again. Just go buy Banga fresh palm fruit extract. They go know say you sabi cook and you be better cook.
Banga, make your food yummy yum.
Distributors needed nationwide. Phone number 081-6397-4447, 080-3564-4436, 070-6663-8213. Banga fresh palm fruit extract.
Aviation workers have suspended their planned industrial action due to commence today. This followed a memorandum of settlement reached by the workers and the Federal Ministry of Aviation in the early hours of Tuesday. Both parties signed the agreement at the end of a conciliation meeting held at the instance of the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment. The meeting, which was presided over by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, discussed the non-implementation of the minimum wage consequential adjustment in the aviation parastatals since 2019 and the non-approval or release of the reviewed conditions of service in the parastatals. Briefing journalists on the agreements reached, Ngige said, and I quote, "The National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission was requested to issue a service-wide circular informing all organizations in the public and private sectors that they are bound to implement the national minimum wage of 2019 and consequential adjustments." The Federal Medical Center FMC or chapter of the Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, MD-CAN, has kicked against extension of tenure of Liasu Adiagbo as the Chief Medical Director, CMD of the hospital, as he is due for retirement. The chairman of the association, Samuel Faturoti, expressed displeasure with the reappointment of the outgoing CMD for another 4 years, despite alleged procedural flaws.
We are also privy to the fact that the board of management of the hospital was not carried along in the entire reappointment episode. There are at least 20 consultants in the employ of the hospital equally eligible to occupy the position of medical director. So why should an individual be scheming to spend 10.5 years as medical director?
The renewal of appointment, there are procedure for that, and the procedure was well followed. Majority of consultants, they are very happy about the renewal of appointments, but very few people who feel that they are medical directors in waiting. They are the ones that are agitating.
The Independent Corrupt Practices and Order-Related Offences ICPC Commission says it has recovered cash and assets valued at 166.51 billion naira from corrupt persons in the last 2.5 years. This represents an increase of 378% over the assets recovery target of 44 billion naira under the Commission's Strategic Plan 2019 to 2023. The recovered assets include houses, vehicles, electronics, jewelries, clothing and accessories, plots of land, and farms. This achievement was contained in the Commission's Midterm Performance Report 2019 to June 2021, presented at the ICPC Board and Management Retreat held in Abuja. According to the Midterm Performance Report made available to journalists, assets worth 81.23 billion naira were seized and recovered in 2019, 82.57 billion naira in 2020, and 2.71 billion naira between January and June 2021. Newly published research from the Netherlands has revealed the existence of a more transmissible and damaging variant of HIV, according to the Joint United Nations Programme on HIV/AIDS, UNAIDS. It said on Monday in a statement that people living with the newly revealed subtype experience double the rate of immune system decline measured by the CD4 count level of infection-busting T cells and have higher viral loads. They're also vulnerable to developing AIDS 2 to 3 times faster after diagnosis than if they were living with other strains of the virus. The research also revealed the variant has been circulating in the Netherlands for years and remains receptive to treatment. The study, led by researchers from the University of Oxford's Big Data Institute, is the first to report on the subtype B of the virus. Troops have foiled an attack by suspected terrorists at Ongwan Garama, located in the Maraban Rido General Area of Chikun Local Government Area of Kaduna State. The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs in Kaduna State, Samuel Aroma, confirmed the incident via a statement issued on Monday. He said security operatives also rescued 7 persons who were kidnapped by the terrorists in the Maraban area, adding that the operation followed a distress call received by the security forces, who swiftly responded by engaging the bandits. According to the commissioner, the superior firepower of the troops forced the criminals to flee in disarray after an intense exchange. He stated that all the rescued persons have since been reunited with their families. The Katsina State Chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has urged the State Independent Electoral Commission, KATSEC, and security agencies in the state to ensure credible and hitch-free local government elections in the state. The state PDP chairman, Honorable Salisu Yusuf Mejigiri, made the appeal in Mashi yesterday while conducting the party's local government congress to elect the PDP standard bearers for the April 11 council's poll. The party, which has elected their councillor standard bearers, is expected to also elect chairmanship candidates across the 34 local governments of the state today through the local government congress. He admonished the state government and the electoral umpire to beef up security across the 361 political wards and the 34 local government areas of the state in order to ensure free, credible and hitch-free local government elections in the state. The federal government has received 2 million doses of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccines from the European Union, EU. The vaccines, which were donated by Finland, Greece and Slovenia, are part of the total donation of almost 20 million of Johnson & Johnson doses from EU member states to Nigeria via COVAX. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, a few weeks ago stated that the federal government had spent $298 million for the procurement of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccines, amounting to about 39 million doses. The federal government, however, urged all stakeholders at the state and local government levels to intensify efforts to ensure that more Nigerians get their first and second doses of the vaccines. The chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC in Oyo State, Isaac Omodewu, has inaugurated the state executive members of the party and the chairman of the party across the local government areas. The inauguration was done at the party office at Okeado in Ibadan, the state capital. The new chairman, Omodewu, said he will build on the legacy of the immediate past chairman.
The congresses have come and gone. There is no victor. There is no vanquish. It is time to get united and mobilize for 2023 general election. That era of impunity and imposition of candidates is over. Our administration can create a level playing for member jostling for any position or the other in 2023 election. We are returning the party to the members. They will determine the fate of the all aspirants. No leader or group will be allowed to impose candidates on the party.
Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere has condemned the announced extension of the incarceration of Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Sunday Igboho, by another 6 months. The group expressed disappointment and regret while asserting that Sunday Igboho had spent over 200 days in the Beninese government detention already. The National Publicity Secretary of the organization, Jare Ajayi, stated that extending the detention of anyone who had not been convicted of any offense was against the law of any country that claimed to be guided by the rule of law. The group explained that the detention was much longer than it should be for a person who had not been convicted of any offense and a person who was not a criminal by any standard. And now let's go to African news. Thousands of Sudanese marched against military rule on Monday in Khartoum and other cities, a Reuters reporter said, with some voicing concern about the return to government of members of the ousted regime of ex-president Omar al-Bashir. In the capital, security forces firing repeated rounds of tear gas blocked protesters trying to reach the presidential palace, stopping them more than a kilometer away from the building, a Reuters witness said. Some people were seen injured and bleeding, and others fainted, carried away on motorcycles. Protesters were more numerous than in recent weeks in Khartoum and several other cities. Malawi's main power station stopped operating after the Shikwawa Dam was damaged by the heavy rains following the landfall of Tropical Storm Anna on the 24th of January. The country is expected to go through 6 months of power cuts, according to the National Electricity Company, GENCO.
More than 90 people were killed in a storm across southern Africa. Authorities confirmed that over 100 people were reported to have sustained serious injuries in 15 districts after more than a week of heavy rains. According to the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, over 200,000 people from 48,000 households have been affected and many have been displaced. From the international scene, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi defended his government's efforts to fight the COVID-19 pandemic over the last 2 years, saying on Tuesday they led to high economic growth and middling inflation, unlike the situation in some advanced economies. Economic growth is estimated at 9.2% in India's fiscal year, ending in March, and at 8% to 8.5% the next, after a contraction of 6.6% in fiscal 2019 and 2020, while retail inflation hovers around 5.5%, well within the central bank's target of 2% to 6%. The government has distributed free food grain to 800 million people during the pandemic. While taking steps to tame inflation, Modi told the upper house of parliament in remarks that triggered an opposition boycott of his speech. Japan's parliament on Tuesday adopted a resolution on rising tensions over Ukraine, denouncing any attempt to change the status quo by force and urging Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's government to do all it can to help achieve peace. The resolution by Parliament's lower chamber comes after Russia amassed more than 100,000 troops along the border with Ukraine, raising fears of war. In a virtual meeting last month, Kishida and U.S. President Joe Biden committed to work together to deter Russian aggression against Ukraine, and the Prime Minister pledged to coordinate closely with the United States and international community on taking strong action in response to any attack. And it's a wrap on this segment. Thanks for watching. I am Perpetua Fast and Repeat. And coming up right after this commercial break is Entertainment Business News. Stay with us.
Most people don't understand the magic of a perfect skin, the allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. and it's Blemiville Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiville family.
Is the cultivation of plants and rearing of animals for human consumption. And I'm here today at the Pali Agro Farm. My name is Jennifer of Buset. It's going to be an exciting view today. So enjoy, stay tuned, and don't go anywhere.
Flour it's a one of its kind product. We have other products in the market, but our true unripe plantain flour, it's 100% plantain flour with no additive. And once you eat it, just as you said,
looking fresh already, right?
Yeah, it's a very nice product. So as we produce it, we also test it, and as you can see, it's a very good product, and we encourage people outside, the buyers, to patronize us, buy our plantain flour, and they will see the difference. The difference is clear.
We have one who understands the history of Pali Agro Farm. He is no other person than a pioneer staff and a Marshall Teslin. Good to have you here, sir.
Thank you very much, sister. I'm the one of the first staff in the Pali Agro, because we are first there in BBK before we come to Pali Agro since 2003. We start from the fish pond. After fish pond, we enter to the poultry side.
Now, for every Pali Agro product, what will you say to people out there?
I remember when I take our market to the first time, people are calling us, they are calling us Agboro. So everybody saying we are looking for agro egg. That's what they call us in first town. If you are in Mushi, they are looking for Abekuta egg. There are many products that are spoiled, that are selling in the market, but our product is the best in the market. Everybody has lined up, they are waiting for our product. People are using our product to sell their product. I'm the managing distributor of all the Pali Agro products in Lagos. Please, people, keep watching iBrandTV.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment Business. I am Choma Amariwulam. Since its release in December, Spider-Man No Way Home continues to top box office expectations. The film is the only Hollywood release since 2019 to top $1 billion at the global box office. And with $748.9 million at the domestic box office, it is the fourth highest grossing film of all time in the US and Canada, just behind Avatar, which has generated $760.5 million according to the Comscore data. The feat comes as no other domestic release managed to surpass $250 million in ticket sales during the 2021 theatrical runs. However, it is No Way Home's global box office haul that has experts buzzing. With $1.77 billion, the Sony Disney co-production has become the sixth highest grossing film of all time, just behind Titanic 1997, which stands at $1.84 billion. And it's reached that figure without a China release. Moving on, Moonfall, which cost $150 million to produce, earned just $10 million in its opening weekend. It follows a string of box office disappointments for director Roland Emmerich. Jackass Forever took the top spots at the box office over the weekend. Director Roland Emmerich's latest disaster movie, Moonfall, opened in theaters over the weekend to a disastrous box office. The movie, which stars Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson, earned $10 million domestically in its debut weekend. It cost $150 million to produce, making it the biggest box office flop of the year so far. And that's it on Entertainment Business. I am Chioma Amaribulam.
All right, coming up next is Sport Business.
On Sports Business at this hour, Jim McInville, better known as Mattress Mark, has placed the largest mobile sports wager in U.S. history. The furniture store mogul bet $4.53 million on the Cincinnati Bengals to win Super Bowl 56. To make the bet legal, McInville had to leave his home state of Texas for Louisiana, which just launched mobile sports betting on January 28th. McInville drove to a convenience store just across the border to make the wager on Caesar Sportsbook app. Mattress Mark is known for making outrageous sports bets to lessen the impact of his sports-themed sales promotions at his furniture store. The current promotion offers to refund any mattress or reclining living room furniture purchased if the Bengals win the Super Bowl. If the Bengals conquer the Los Angeles Rams, the $7.7 million McInville will win is to allay the costs of the promotion. The Super Bowl is the biggest single sports betting event in the U.S., and the largest known bet on the game was a $7.9 million wagers at 900 odds in 2002. And still talking sports business, Keith Bishop, Mike Ashley's head of PR, says Derby County's debts and the complexity of a deal to buy the club doesn't frighten him, but he admits the clock is ticking if a deal is to be done to avoid Derby County going into liquidation. Ashley is one of the three potential buyers interested in taking over at Pride Park, though the situation is extremely complex and that is a source of frustration. Debts of over £60 million and legal claims from Middlesbrough and Wycombe worth potentially £40 million and complexities over the stadium, which is not owned by the club, are all serious stumbling blocks. Almost 2 weeks ago, Derby were granted a month's extension to prove to the EFL they have the necessary funds to see out the remainder of the season's fixtures. Since then, there has been no public statement of progress from Derby County's administrators, and Mike Ashley is keen to push things as quickly as possible. And that's it on Sports Business. I'm Samson Oleide.
Well, thank you very much. And that's much we have for On Business Now at this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. Bye-bye for now.